It is chick hatching weekend. This is one of the most nerve-wracking times for us, and who knows what's going to happen. We have not had the greatest of luck. We've actually had fairly standard luck when it comes to hatching chickens, but this time we are hoping for more. Let's see what we get.
Remember one touching? I think that one died.
I'll make him touch. I forget my rules.
That's
definitely a chicken.
That one definitely has something.
Yay!
That one definitely has something.
Yay! We have 2 so far.
3.
You think that black one definitely has one?
Oh yeah.
Honestly.
Damn, what are you doing? Please.
All right, so I'm hoping this microphone is working. Now, today is Sunday. We actually did get quite a bit done on the chicken coop yesterday, as you guys are going to see. Today, we went to my mom's, like we always do, and we got a bunch of scrap wood that she doesn't need anymore. So, I'm going to start getting that unloaded first. Then we're going to get back to working on our chicken coop and get this hopefully done. We kind of have to finagle some things to make it all work, but we're going to get there. So let's get moving.
Ready for my close-up.
into this next clip, I want to talk a little bit about the hatching process. What's going to happen first is the chicken is going to do what they call a pip. The pip is basically the chicken creating the first little hole. You may hear first, like you may see some wiggling, you may hear the chick in the egg, all of that. But the first thing you're going to have happen is it's going to pip, which is that hole that it creates to get started. Now, from that point, before going on to the next point, it could take anywhere from 10 minutes to up to 36 hours before they continue to the next phase, which is what they call zippering. Zippering is where they basically create a little cap around the egg so that when they push on the bottom of the egg, they will pop this cap off and it lets them get out. Now, that process, the zippering process, can take anywhere from a few minutes to another couple of hours. That all happens, that's all fine and dandy. In this next clip, we end up having to assist this chicken. And the reason we had to assist is because we watched it, we saw when it pipped, and then 36 hours later is when it started the zippering process, which is normal. That process took another hour to 2 hours for it to finish. Once it got to that finished zippering process, it started wanting to push out to hatch. Now, this chick was so big that every time it would push, instead of popping that cap off like is what's supposed to do, it would create micro fissures all around the eggshell. And so what was happening was the eggshell was literally expanding and then contracting back around this chick. It could never get a grip to push out. So I am assisting in this next clip. Now, with assisting, I want you to know you do not want to assist unless you absolutely have to. And the reason I'm saying that is because chicks will basically, 9 times out of 10, chicks don't make it if you assist because they're too weak. That's why it happens. However, with this chick, we looked for all the signs. We actually took almost 3 hours before we jumped in to assist this one. The reason we took that long is, one, we wanted to try to give it as much time to do it on its own as we could. But in that time, after the first hour, we noticed what was happening. We started researching immediately in case we needed to step in. We started checking out YouTube channels, multiple, not just one, multiple YouTube channels. We started going to different blogs and reading things. I started digging into all of my homestead books, reading things about what we need to look for assisting a hatching situation. This chick never gave up in that 3 hours. It kept pushing, and it would stop and take little breaks to get its energy back, but it kept pushing, and then it would stop, rest. But at the same time, this chick was louder than any of the ones we had already hatched. So we knew it was a fighter. We knew that if we assisted, it was gonna make it. So then I stepped in, and yes, we assisted. We then slowly began to peel off the eggshell that it had already cracked. Now, our idea was we were not gonna peel all of it off. We were just gonna peel enough for it to keep going, to finish the process. We peeled away that hard outer shell, and then we started tearing a little bit of the thicker inner lining. And the reason we were doing that is so that it wouldn't suction around this baby. It had already absorbed most of the thin inner lining, which is what it needed to do. So we weren't too worried, but we got it to about a halfway point, and then in my hand, it started wiggling and pushing on its own, pushing out of this eggshell on its own. And that's when we stopped and put it back in the incubator with the others. And that's when it went on its own and finished the hatching process. But again, if you are going to assist in a hatching, make sure you are doing your research. Make sure you are looking into it first and giving the chick as much of a chance as possible for it to do it on its own. That chick is one of our largest and one of our strongest we have. And we are so happy that we did assist, and we assisted when we needed to, because we knew it was going to have the best chance.
Oh, that plays too much. Can you do it?
You gotta do some of the work in there. There you go. Yep.
Yeah. Shall we put you away now?
I'm afraid of that piece right there.
What piece?
This one going right along right there.
That's actually supposed to stay. That's the piece that gets soaked back in. Because they said there's 2 pieces of membrane. You want to get the top thicker layer off and leave the thin under layer because it soaks back into their skin. Okay. Can you do the rest?
Because I feel like it should be able to pop now on its own.
Yeah. It definitely, yeah.